Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
What got you started in this business?
I met Tony through a casual friend, so I started dancing.
Was that the first time you were dancing?
Yeah, I started dancing with her.
How do you find out you got a knack for that sort of thing?
This is the plaintiff, Maribel Diaz. She says she's known the defendant for 10 years because she was an exotic dancer at her adult entertainment business. She ended up investing in the defendant's online adult toy website, and it's been almost 2 years, and she hasn't been paid back her initial investment nor profits. So that's why she's suing her for the $2,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Tony. She says the plaintiff knew full well the return on her investment could take anywhere from 1 to 3 years. The woman's just getting antsy. She has a rock-solid contract with her and simply owes her nothing at this point. She's accused of stripping an investor.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Maribel Diaz?
Yes.
You are suing Tony, who's Tony? And Tony's Angels, doing business as?
Teasers.
Okay. For $2,000 that you say you invested in a sex toy company and you want returned to you. Okay, what's going on?
Well, I gave her the money about 2 years ago.
How did you know each other?
I used to work with her.
For who? Okay,
for Tony's Angels.
Where?
Well, she owns an entertainment company.
Yeah.
I own an adult entertainment company, Exotic Dancers, for about 8-9 years now. And she's been working for me as an exotic dancer.
Okay. And do you operate out of one venue or you travel?
We travel.
Okay, so you do parties, bachelorette parties, bachelor parties, that kind of...
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you've been doing that how long?
I worked with her for 8 years.
Okay.
Then she started a company, teachers.com, which they sell sex toys, women underwear, for exotic dancing. But she told me if I wanted to invest to buy merchandise. And I said, yeah, sure.
But what was the premise, that you were going to be investing in the company?
Yeah.
All right. And did anybody write anything out to see what everybody's rights and obligations were? Do you have that?
I forgot it.
Okay. You forgot to bring it to court? Oh, but you have it. Do you have a copy?
Yes.
May I see it?
Yes.
Thank you.
How did you get started in this business?
And which one?
Well, let's start with the one you've had the longest, which is the exotic dancers.
I used to work for somebody as a driver, and he treated the girls very badly. So actually the girls would say, they kept telling me, cheering me on why I didn't start my own business, and that's how I got started.
And when you say he treated the girls badly, what do you mean, he didn't pay them well?
Right.
Okay. So what were you doing before that?
I used to run a temp agency in New Jersey.
And what got you started in this business?
I met Tony through a casual friend, so I started dancing.
Was that the first time you were dancing?
Yeah, I started dancing with her.
How do you find out you got a knack for that sort of thing? All righty then. So who drafted this?
Me.
Every word of it you drafted, or did you get start
Well,
I
had some support with my accountant.
Your accountant?
Yes.
You didn't go to a lawyer?
No.
Okay. So you enter into this agreement, and how long ago did you enter into this agreement?
It's been about a year.
All right, and you had invested $2,000, and when are you supposed to see the fruit of your $2,000?
I was supposed to see benefits from every single thing she sold. And
From the beginning?
From the beginning, I guess.
Okay. You signed this thing when?
November 3rd.
Of
14.
2014. And what is it that you, so in that whole year, what have you seen?
Nada.
And have you ever said anything until now?
I sent her text messages. I was still working with her after that.
Okay.
And I sent her text messages.
How often does she call you to get you to work?
Well, not anymore.
Is it every, I know.
But
How
before-
often did it used to be?
Maybe 2 times a week.
So do you have a day job too, or that floats you for the week?
Well, I also work in other places.
Okay. That has to do with this, or that doesn't
Yeah,
have?
I'm a dancer.
Okay, all right. So you guys had a blow up.
Yeah.
Unrelated, which is when you said, I want out of this other company, of this sex toy company.
Yeah, because that's why I stopped working with her, because of the money I loaned her, and I never seen I never seen nothing.
Well, what was the blowout about? What was the fight about? About that?
About that, my
Okay.
money.
What say you the fight was about?
Like she stated, she used to work for me. We had a job. She was acting inappropriate.
How?
She wasn't just dancing. She was drinking excessively. You know, I felt like she was overdoing it. I got upset. I wouldn't allow her in my car.
After the job?
Yeah, after the job. And then this is what I feel. And 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail that she's suing me.
Okay.
So I feel she's just upset.
Did you
Because
fire
that was
her?
the last time.
Did you fire her, or
Yeah.
you just failed to call her?
Well, I just failed to call her.
Right, that's how people get fired, kind of.
Yes.
You just don't call them anymore. So she knew, because it had been 2 weeks, that you weren't calling her.
Correct.
All right, but you have a long history with her, don't you?
Yes.
How many years was she working?
I also have the contract from when she started, and she's correct. It's been a while. I mean, she's
How long?
Since I'll give you the
You
exact
dropped a
date.
contract with your dancers?
Yep.
What does it say?
It's
More or less.
Well, it's an independent contract
Right, so
You know?
what's the point of the contract? Is that,
that they take care of their own insurances, taxes, and stipulations on that. She's been working since March of 2008.
so how come you couldn't work out your problem that day?
Well, we could have. She really got upset because I wouldn't allow her in my car. That was out of my character, because usually I'm very nice. I calm down very quickly, but that day I was really upset, and I wouldn't allow her in my car because we drive the girls, we stay there, and we make sure that they're okay, and we drive them home.
Right.
But that day I just was really upset with her.
Right.
Now usually this is not the first occurrences I had with her. Usually we both calm down, we'll talk about it, she'll come back to work. I was actually even thinking of calling her again. Because when she does do good, she works pretty good, Even though I have an adult entertainment company, I never consider it trashy. I always try to keep it classy.
Okay.
It's not a career move. I try to help the girls out to make money, to do better, whether it's going to college or, to pursue.
Okay, I'm sorry. So they exotic dance only to go to college, all of your girls?
Well, I always try to. I have one girl that's in the Army now.
Okay.
I convinced her to go, and she's in Colorado, and she's doing very well. So I told all my girls, this is not a career move. This is something temporary that you do
She
for
was
the
working for you
meantime
for
to do
7
better.
years. I mean,
Yeah, she has been. But
Obviously, it
I
worked
can't
out for
force.
both of you.
I can't force anybody.
No, of course not. Of course not. All right, so tell me about this company that she invested in.
It's like she said, it's an adult sex toy website. I told her to invest in it, so correct, to get merchandise. We both agreed that
When you say to get merchandise, you mean so that you needed an investor so that you could buy more merchandise? Is that what you mean? Because you didn't have the funds.
I was planning to do passion parties where we bring the products in hand.
Oh, like a Tupperware party.
Right.
Except for that.
Correct.
Except for, I'm looking at one of your receipts, Macho Supreme Stamina, I can't even. Snap-on duo ring. I don't even want to know. Pin the torpedo on the sailor. That I might want to know about. I'm going to stop now.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So my question is simple. Is the sex toy business more popular than most people would admit?
I mean, I don't think so.
Okay.
Depending who you ask.
Okay, I'm asking you.
For the sake of my mom, I don't know.
How about not for the sake of your mom?
But if I'm thinking like for other people, I would say it's pretty popular.
Okay, and you say?
I would agree with that. I think it's pretty popular. I wouldn't know personally, but I think so.
Okay, I'm going to stop. Going inside the courtroom.
It seems kind of ill-advised to have somebody whose boss you are invest in another company with you. Why did you do that?
You're absolutely correct. I didn't think of it. Like I said, I feel like Maribel is a smart, good individual young lady, and
Did you have any other of your dancers invest in that company?
No, me and her.
Did you have any other investors in that company?
Yes.
How many investors did you have?
I have one more.
Is that person seeing distributions?
No, not yet.
Why isn't she seeing distributions from the? Are you making a profit?
No, not yet.
Are you selling anything?
No, not yet.
Okay, and why haven't you sold anything?
Because I haven't got, I guess, the right marketing team together yet.
So these are all the items that you bought?
Correct.
And these items are sitting around where?
In my office.
How long ago did you take the $2,000 from her?
In November 3rd of last year.
And you didn't buy anything until June, when she had already filed a lawsuit?
It was, no.
April?
No.
April?
Yeah, I think it was February.
March, yeah. And why is it that she hasn't seen any, what is she supposed to get out of this, out of the $2,000?
It stipulates on the contract, she gets 30% of the $2,000.
When?
When it starts making a profit, when I start making money. So that's why I says within the contract, it says to at least allow me to get 1 to 3 years.
1 to 3 years.
Yes.
So she might not see a penny for 1 to 3 years.
Correct.
And then what she might see is 30% of her 2,000 and then 3% of the profits?
Yeah.
And the profits are after you pay everybody's salaries?
Yes.
So all you have to do is pay everybody bigger salaries and then magically you're not turning a profit and then she sees nothing?
Well, I mean, I wasn't planning to do that to her, but she signed the contract.
Yeah, why did you? Why did you have a lawyer look at that?
No, I didn't. I trusted enough, but I worked.
Yeah, but you ought to know where your money's going and how it's going. I mean, first of all, it's not in lawyer language where it says that you will wait 1 to 3. You picked an option that said 1 to 3 years for distribution.
But that's not the way she explained to me. She told me
Sure,
3 months.
Wait a minute. You can read. These are, if you're going to be a big girl, put big girl money down, you need to be able to read what you're signing. And you can't say, I trusted her. You have to read what you're signing. Let me read it out loud, exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, your initials are on it. Mm-hmm. Shareholders agree to a 1 to 3 year option before profit distribution. This is like I would never sign this contract. It is so outrageously in her favor.
Facts.
Right, but that's why I would go see a lawyer who would say, no, girl, take that $2,000 and go to Vegas. Mm-hmm. But this is a contract that you signed, and the real problem that I have, because even though this contract is so in her favor, we haven't reached a point where I can see that she is abusing you and doing something, because we're not at the point. We're not even at the 1 year point. I understand why you want out. You don't want anything to do anymore with anybody on that side. I understand. But sometimes we make decisions with our money that don't include, we can just pull it out. And this is one of those decisions. So I'm not going to rule against you in this lawsuit. What I'm going to do is dismiss it without prejudice to you being able to bring it again after the period of time that you signed on says.
Okay.
And just so you know, it's 1 to 3 years. Now, I'm ordering you to keep very detailed records of each and every sale, because at some point, if she doesn't start seeing a return on her investment, she's not going to just forget this. Okay? If she's a smart cookie, she's not going to just forget this. She's going to take you to court, and there's going to be a judge who's going to demand to see every T crossed and every I dotted. It does say that you have to do things according to general accounting principles. You want to make a profit, right?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Based on what I am seeing, I have no choice but to dismiss without prejudice for you to be able to bring it up at a later date that's timely according to the contract that you signed.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
The judge dismisses the case without prejudice. That's not a ruling against you, the plaintiff right here. What's your feeling on this ruling?
Well, I guess I have to wait another 2 years before she gives me my money back.
You signed 1 to 3 years, and that was in November of 2014, right?
Yes.
So apparently she can keep you waiting until 2017 November.
I'm not giving up. It's my money.
You're not giving up? What do you do next?
I guess I'll come back in a year.
You think she tried to take advantage of you?
Yeah, of
or do you
course.
think she means well?
She always trying to take advantage.
All right, okay. All right. All right, so step on in here. You said you went into the business because somebody else was taking advantage of the girls, and you heard what she just said, that she thinks you're doing the same thing.
Right, but that's with the dancers. With the adult sex toys, she will see her money.
You think so?
I'm positive.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully you'll turn a profit, but those products, are they flying off the shelves or exactly?
Not yet, but they will be.
Yeah. All right. Harvey?
Okay, doke. Kurt, so this is basically a premature lawsuit, which means you cannot sue until there is a breach. And it just struck me how funny it is a premature lawsuit in a sex toy case. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre al app para llevarte ofertas antes del cutoff. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
This is the plaintiff, Michelle Britton. She says she purchased a car from the defendants, and they took terrible advantage of her. The car shakes violently when she drives it. There's a loud bang when she steps on the brakes, and she can't drive it safely, so it's sitting in a parking lot. She's suing for the return of the $3,000 she's owed, and she wants it now. These are the defendants, Scott and Patricia. Scott says the plaintiff had the car they sold her for almost 3 months, put 1,000 miles on it, and now expects them to give her back her money? They don't owe her any money. They know it. The judge knows it, and soon she will know it too. They're accused of unloading a lemon. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $480 for lost wages.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendants took advantage of her in buying a car. It is falling apart. But the defendants say the plaintiff drove the car for 3 months. So she's got to be kidding. It's the case of you're driving me crazy.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Michelle Britton?
Yes.
You are suing your co-worker, Scott. And do you also work with her?
No.
Okay, you're the wife?
Mm-hmm.
Patricia, you've asked us not to refer to your last names. For $3,000, the price that you paid for a vehicle that, according to you, is a lemon. You are counterclaiming $480 for having to show up to respond to her lawsuit today and losing work. Okay. So, how do you two know each other?
We are co-workers.
Okay, and your co-workers, don't name the school, but your co-workers at a high school?
Yes.
All right, how long have you been co-workers at that high school?
5 years.
Okay, and what do you do?
I work in the cafeteria.
And what does he do?
He's the mechanic at the school.
He's a mechanic?
Yes.
So you're a mechanic teacher, or you're a mechanic for the school?
Auto mechanics teacher, yes.
Okay, so, well, ironic. Okay, so what happens?
Okay, I purchased the car from him on 5/20.
Mm-hmm. What kind of car was this?
It's a Jeep Cherokee.
What year?
2000.
Okay. Why would you sell it to somebody who you work with? Did you tell him that? Did you tell him don't sell it to somebody?
No,
okay.
not at first, no.
All right. Oh, afterwards? You have hindsight that's 20/20 also? Okay. All right. I would never sell a used car to anybody that I know at all, because whatever goes wrong in the next few weeks, they're going to think I knew about it. Mm-hmm. I can't control that, you know? Did you have the car inspected before you bought it?
I test drive the car. It was
no, that's not what I mean. Did you have a mechanic look at it?
Your Honor, he was the mechanic.
I know, he's the guy selling it. He's the guy trying to get rid of it. Did you have your own mechanic look at it?
After.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has it after. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I purchased the car on the 5th.
I test drove it the same day, May 20th. It was working fine. The following day, I came out to go to work, turned the car on, put it into drive. I heard a loud kick. I'm like, something is wrong with the car. So I brought it back to the defendant. He said, I'll check it out for you. Give me a few minutes. And I was like, what are you going to do? I think I need my money back.
Wait, but what were you showing him was wrong with the car?
Yes, I did show him what was wrong with the car.
What was wrong with the car?
The car, when you put it into drive, it gives a loud kick.
Okay.
And apparently the transmission was going in the car.
Okay,
So,
and did that happen when you were driving it?
No.
When you test drove it, I meant.
But no, I didn't hear it when I test drove the car.
Okay.
I
And
didn't hear
so he told you there's nothing wrong with the car?
Yes, Your
That's
Honor.
just the way it sounds?
Yes.
He said there's nothing wrong with the car.
Nothing wrong with the car. He went into the car, put his foot on brakes, changed the car into drive. He didn't hear the kick. Why he didn't hear the kick?
Did you hear the kick?
No, I didn't hear it when he did it.
Okay.
Why? Because he put his foot down too hard on brakes.
Okay.
You know, like you slam on brakes. That's what he did.
All right, so then you told him, don't put your foot so hard?
Don't put your foot down on the brakes like that.
Okay, what was wrong with the car? Did you ever take the car to another mechanic?
After.
And what did the mechanic say needed doing in order to...
The mechanic said the transmission case was gone. The whole front end of the car was coming out, and you need to return the car.
Let me see what the... Do you have something in writing from the...
Mechanic?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Okay, and the recommendations were to replace the transfer case, replace the front stabilizer and rear shock absorbers, front end falling out. I don't even know what that means. What's that mean, front end falling out?
Could be a number of things. Could be, you know, there's a lot of parts in the front end. I don't know. I've never seen a bill or anything. This is the first time I've heard her give an invoice or anything. She never produced an invoice for me or a bill.
Well, the only bill she has is 3 days after the purchase for the estimate. Somebody charged her $90 to check it out. And then she has a little piece of paper where there's writing on it. I mean, this isn't... You know.
That's the only thing that I saw.
Sorry, this is a notepad. Like anybody who worked there could take a piece of paper from the notepad. I'm like, this is not going to be an estimate. That I need something. What I want to see is something that connects the noise you're making and what it's going to take away the noise you're making and what it's going to cost. In other words, if this estimate was, you know, $400, your lawsuit should be about $400, not about $3,000.
So she buys the car, does not take it to a mechanic. It's used, and now she's complaining. She had a luck.
Yeah, she didn't do her due diligence.
Does she have to take it to a mechanic? And if she does, could she get her money back then if she accepted the car?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay. What do you say?
I think she should have had it checked before she bought it, so it's her fault.
Her fault? Anybody think she should get her money back? Good, because you'd be wrong going inside the courtroom.
When you talk to her and she says, I want my money back, what do you say?
I had told her, let me find out what's wrong with the car. I said, let's take a drive with it. Let me put it up on the lift after work, because I am a school teacher. I can't do this during the day. Okay, and she does leave earlier than I do, so she would have to stay late. I was willing to stay late. I did do that one day for her. I did put it up on the lift when she gave me that piece of paper. I checked the front end. I didn't see anything loose or falling out. Okay.
Well, what was making the noise? Did she replicate the noise for you?
No, I had asked her to go on a road test with me, which she had never done. So I went out with her once before, okay, for the clunk, which we didn't hear. I asked her to go with me again. She said she couldn't, and she said she wanted her money back and for me to take the car back. And that was the last time I spoke to her.
So according to you, you never heard the sound?
I never heard the sound. I know there is a little bit of play in there. Again,
what does play mean?
Play, a little bit of slack when you change from reverse to drive. It's got 200,000 miles. It's normal wear and tear for a vehicle with 200,000 miles. I'm a certified ASE mechanic. I can give you my certification.
No, because I mean,
like
that just like I want, you know, that would make me think, well, why didn't he just fix it? He works with her. How does one fix that?
It could be a major repair. It depends on what it is. But again, if it's
that's kind of her premise, is that you know her, you sold her a car that could have a major repair depending on what it is, and you're a guy who would know that because you're a mechanic.
There's nothing that failed. It's just, you know,
where's the car now?
It's in the parking lot of the job.
At school?
Abandoned.
I had to park it over a month ago.
Really? And the school isn't giving you grief?
No, I spoke to the person that's in charge, and they told me it's okay until my court case comes to a close.
All right, is she driving it?
No, not right now. She was driving it up until, I don't know when she stopped driving it.
All right. Reference your counterclaim against her. You're suing her for $480 because what?
Well, it's basically a day's pay for me and my wife as well, and the ferry ride over here from New York.
Tough. Like, why would that entitle? I mean, like, she feels like you're a mechanic and you knew something was wrong with it and you sold it to her knowing that there's something wrong with it.
But there was nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I sold the car in good faith, to her for a reasonable price.
Did you know this stuff?
No.
Hold on. Take that, Tom.
I've never seen that bill before.
I know, but you're seeing it now. And tell me, do you agree that those things might be necessary on a car with 200,000 miles, or are you saying?
I could see maybe the stabilizer bushings, the rear shock absorbers. I just had put rear shocks in before I gave it to Michelle. I have pictures of them.
Okay.
I put new front and rear shocks in there.
And what is this guy saying? There's no rear shocks.
He's saying needs rear shock absorbers. They're brand new.
You think he's just trying to sell her stuff?
It could be. I mean, the car business, you're there to make money. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I find with anybody who's selling something. But
I have a bill that says she bought the car as is with her name on it.
Yeah, that's a problem. Is that you have to understand. First of all, do you watch the People's Court?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, if you do, how many as-is car sales have you seen?
A few.
Okay, so what when you buy a car with 200,000 miles on it that's 15 years old, what are you supposed to do?
Take it to my mechanic.
Beforehand. Have your mechanic take a look at it. Nobody does that because you don't want to spend the $100 on the mechanic. But when you don't, there's things you're not going to learn. And here's the thing. It's a 200,000 mile car. There are going to be some issues. And I'm kind of having difficulty with the idea that you buy a car as is and now you want all your money back because it turns out there's going to be some issues.
Can I speak, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, the reason why I sign as is, and the defendant knows, because he told me if anything go wrong with the car, he will fix it, but I bought it back the following day to him.
No, wait a minute. Do you understand what the word as is means?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it means I do not by law have to fix it.
I understand that,
Okay.
Your Honor, but
Now,
that's my coworker.
So he may say to you, I'm happy to fix it if there's something wrong with it because I'm your coworker, but he doesn't have to fix it. And I know that you're going to see these folks 3 days after the sale, so I know you're already demanding your money back. So I know that not 72 hours afterwards you wanted your money back, so what he's saying about you not wanting to continue to work to try to fix it sounds true. I mean, did he say to you, let's have another test drive, let's look at this, let's look at that, or
He tried to fix it, Your Honor, but he couldn't do anything to it because at the same time, when I drove the car home, I told him, I said, the slightest bump I go in, the car is just vibrating.
Okay, but I don't understand. When you test drove it, when did this start happening?
You didn't have that problem. The following day I
Well,
went
then if
home.
it didn't have a problem, how can you prove that he knew there was a problem beforehand?
Your
If you
Honor,
test drive it and it's not making a noise when it gets out of drive, and you test drive it and it's not shaking every time you hit a bump, then how is he some mastermind who tried to sell you something that he should have known had those things? If you test drove it and it was fine, then when you got the car, it was fine. Look, I feel bad for you, and I understand that you put a lot of faith in him because you'd worked with him for 5 years and because he's the mechanics teacher. And if I were in your shoes, having made the mistake of selling a car to a coworker, I'd still take a look at it for her and see if there's anything that you can do besides say there's nothing wrong with it, right? Because you're not a bad mechanic, are you? Okay, so
I'm the teacher.
Okay, well, but don't teach if you can't do, right? So, if I were you, I would extend that offer to her for the peace at school, right? That's what I would do. But in terms of the law, he has zero obligation to you, and therefore, although their counterclaim is dismissed, my verdict is for the defendant.
Oh boy, another as-is plaintiff comes out into the hallway on the losing end. When will this stop?
I don't know. I'll learn my lesson, though. I could tell you that. Learn my lesson.
You told the judge you've seen this same case on the People's Court several times. How did you get stuck in this situation?
It's my coworker. I didn't expect my coworker would do something like that to me. I know. I learned. I learned from my lesson.
All right, what have you learned here?
Not to sign anything as is.
A mechanic first?
From a mechanic, from a coworker, anyone.
What's it like at work now?
I don't speak to him.
Right this one. All right, so the judge recommends that, or at least suggests to you that maybe you should try to step in and do what you can at this point. What do you plan to do?
I mean, I'd like to talk to Michelle again. I don't have any, bad feelings, with her.
Why should you? I mean, she's the one who who's stuck.
I mean, I actually missed talking to her, but I think that, the judge was correct in saying, what she said, the verdict. I think that, it is a matter of obligation when you buy something as is, and, if the problem is not occurring at the time the person purchased the car, or even a little bit after that, if the problem is not happening, I can't duplicate it. There's nothing I can actually try to repair or even offer to repair.
All right, Harvey, take it.
Okay, if you are planning on buying a used car, you have to take it to a mechanic. And if you say, oh, it costs money, fine. If it costs money, you will pay a lot more if you buy it and it falls apart. Make a deal where maybe you split the cost of taking it to a mechanic in the event you buy the car. Split it with the seller. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Kenneth Ives Jr. He says he hired the defendant, a gun store owner, to install 2 silencers on 2 of his rifle barrels, and the guy is inept as they come. Not only didn't he do the work in a timely manner, he was very difficult to deal with. And he's suing him today for the $1,222 he's owed. This is the defendant, Matt. He says he let the plaintiff know he'd have to fill out paperwork with the federal government, who oversees the lawful installation of barrel silencers. And the process could take a year to complete. The plaintiff then gave him a deposit and 2 weeks later began badgering him about why the process was taking so long. Hello? He told him it could take up to a year and to chill out. He's guessing the plaintiff didn't like that answer, and that's why they're here now, in court. He's accused of going off half-cocked.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to put 2 silencers on some rifles and says the guy was incompetent. But the defendant says it's a long process to complete because the government wants it that way. It's the case of I won't be silenced.
Thank you, Douglas. Kenneth Ives, you are suing. You've asked to be referred to only as Matt. You are suing Matt's store for $1,222, a balance of a deposit that you gave to him for work that was not completed. Tell me what happened.
That's correct. I hired him to do some modifications to 2 rifle barrels.
How did you meet him?
Through my business. He came into my business to do work, and I did work for him.
What is your business?
I own a motorcycle dealership.
All right, so he came into your business in order to have work done to what?
He owns an ATV, and we did some work to his ATV.
All right, and then you got to talking, and you found out what he did for a living, and what is it you do for a living?
I'm a federal firearms dealer.
Okay, and you wanted to have something done to a couple of rifles. What was that?
We were going to put noise suppressors on them.
Oh, silencers?
Correct.
All right, and what is the purpose of having silencers on the rifles?
Keep the decibel level lower, not to annoy people when shooting.
Okay. So you hire him to do that, and you folks come up to an agreement that's kind of a barter thing? No, according to you. How much did you give him an estimate for the ATV?
Absolutely.
And on the day that he brought it in before the work was done?
In my business, it would be impossible to know exactly what the repairs would cost. We take all their information, we work on their machine, and then we call them with an exact cost of what they want repaired.
What if they didn't want to spend all that? There's no point, like with a car repair, where you have to call them and say, listen, this is what I think needs doing, and this is what it'll cost. Do I have your approval? There's never that?
There's always that. If he comes in and says, I want the pistons replaced in my four-wheeler, or the brakes aren't working, what's it going to cost to fix? We then evaluate it and call the customer and say, this is what we found wrong with it.
What happened in this particular case? What needed fixing on his ATV?
I don't remember. To me, this
What
case
needed
didn't have
fixing?
anything to do
Well,
with
he
his ATV.
says it does. That's why I'm asking you the questions. So I'll be the judge of whether it did or
I
didn't.
have his work
But
order
now,
here.
Give me his work order, please.
I actually brought in 2 vehicles for repair,
Okay.
my son's motorcycle and also my personal ATV.
Okay. Did he give you a price that day when you came in for the work?
No, ma'am, he did not.
When did he give you a price?
He called me over the phone after about 2 to 3 weeks and said that it would be approximately $1,500.
Did you have a problem with the $1,500?
I did not at all.
Did you pay him the $1,500?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. So
However,
now he hired you to put the silencers on his gun, on his rifles.
well, prior to him hiring me for the silencers, I was in his dealership. He began asking me and inquiring about what I did for a living. Once he found out I was a federal firearms dealer, he referenced the barter system.
All right. So when does he give you the rifles? When do you give him the rifles?
I'm unclear on the date, but I believe it was May 26th.
5/22. He picked them up at my dealership.
On 5/22, he picks up the rifles at your dealership. And in order to put the silencers on, does he have to pass a background check?
He does have to pass a background check, which is approximately 6 to 8 months.
So did you fill that paperwork out?
The paperwork doesn't get filled out until later on during the process. So there was work that needed to be done to the rifles.
Why wouldn't the paperwork be getting filled out in the meantime?
Because the background check, even as a licensed dealer, I have to be background checked again for 3 months, 3 to 4 months before I can take possession of the silencers. Then I do the paperwork for whoever the client is.
Is that all within the 6 months that you talked about?
My time frame is 3 to 4 months.
And then his time frame would be 6 months?
And then his time frame is 6 to 8 months.
So did you ever tell him that it would be a year? Early on, beforehand? Not when you're yelling at each other about how long it's taking, but early on.
No, that was in the original verbal conversation.
Yeah, that's where we watch this. Was it a year?
No.
Okay. All right. So according to you, it's going to take a year. And according to you, it's going to take what?
So why do people put silencers on guns?
Well, they don't want anyone to know that they're shooting somebody.
Yeah, I mean, what is it other than an illegal reason they would do it?
There is no other reason. That's the only reason.
I gotta say, I was thinking about this before we started talking. I can't come up with an answer going inside the courtroom.
In the very beginning, it was going to be 6 to 8 months, and that never got to be a problem. The problem for me is I gave him a $1,400 deposit, and when we met, he told me that I would have my barrels back within 2 weeks. I didn't get my barrels back for 2 months.
So according to you, he's going to get that initial part done in 2 weeks, and it takes 2 months. What's your response to that? Let me see the picture.
These are pictures of the adapters.
That's fairly accurate.
Okay, why did it take 2 months?
Because one of his rifles is a custom rifle, and it required a lot more labor and parts that I didn't have on hand. And there was a backlog on ordering of the parts, and I conveyed that to him as well.
So at some point, he gets frustrated enough with you that he says, I don't want you to do the rest of the job.
That's correct.
And just charge me for the adapters.
That's correct.
And what is it you charged him for the adapters?
Well, I was going to be doing $4,000 worth of work for him in total, and my assumption was that he was going to be doing $1,500 worth of work on
And therefore what?
And therefore, he was going to pay the balance or the difference
Okay, so
between...
where does he approve $4,000? Because the only thing you told him was a 21-something, right?
It's on the worksheet that he signed and that I provided him with.
Let me see that.
May I see the sheet that shows that I was going to pay $4,000?
Yep, as soon as I do.
Okay. The sheet that I'm providing there is the only thing I ever got from Matt.
Okay, where is he approving paying $4,000? You have retail and then you have dealer.
Yeah, we had a
Your deal was for $2,130, and you want to be able to charge him $4,900 based on the fact that you felt that he never gave you a price break on the $1,500. When did you pay the $1,500?
It wasn't.
When did he pay the $1,500?
5/22, about an hour before that was presented to me, and I gave him
accurate?
my
No,
deposit.
it's not accurate.
When did you pay the $1,500?
I have his signature.
On 5/26.
Prove to me that you paid it on 5/26.
I can show you my bank records.
Sure.
May I speak?
Nope. I can only do one thing at a time. I'm a very simple woman.
It's going to take me a few minutes because it's mobile.
Then yes, you can speak.
It's a mobile.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have video surveillance in my store, and I have a picture on 5/22 at 10:05 of him behind the counter, and with that paper that's in your hand from me of us doing this transaction. And also,
Can I see that it is this paper, or no, that's hard to see?
Yeah, I mean,
let me see what you got.
You might be able to zoom in on it, but in that, we can go back to video surveillance on my cell phone.
Do you have it here?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're fine. So according to you, he pays you by check or by credit card?
I don't remember how the ATV was
By
paid.
check or by credit?
I paid by credit card.
By credit card, okay. So he had already paid the $1,500 when he gave you the price?
Correct. The whole transaction all happened
in one sitting. All right, so
correct.
now, according to you, he's supposed to pay you back $1,222 because the adapting should only cost you what?
That estimate was $178.
Okay, and according to him, he should only have to give you back
$713.
Because?
Because based on the
Because
verbal...
you want to charge instead of the 170-something, you feel that it's appropriate for you to charge the retail.
Absolutely, I do.
All right, were you able to find when
It's only going back on my mobile device to June.
Right.
So I'd have to get to a computer.
Right. Yeah, I don't have time for that. You're telling me, Judge, I get to change the price because he didn't do what he said he would do.
Yeah. Well, the silencers, once they're ordered, they're assigned to serial numbers. Those are non-refundable. And
Had you ordered the silencers?
I did. And they're
Can I see proof that you ordered the silencers?
I didn't bring that either.
That's right,
yet.
because you were still at that point waiting for your own clearance, weren't you?
I was still waiting for my clearance, correct.
Exactly. So how could you order the silencers if you hadn't passed the clearance yet?
Because
you know what? $1,222 verdict for the plaintiff.
All right, with that, here's the defendant out in the hallway here. You just heard the plaintiff collect every cent he sued for. What's your reaction to this?
Don't barter with friends, and just be careful with the people you do business with. But he has a history of suing people, and that's the type of caliber person. So.
All right. So why'd you go and do business with him?
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time through research and other things.
You learn anything about the way you do business in the future?
Absolutely, contracts and such. Thank you.
The People's Court, right? So step on in here, and you got everything you sued for. What's your thought here?
I've never been in court before in my life. Some of the statements that he just made were absolutely ridiculous and unprofessional. Never any bartering. If there was bartering when he first walked into my store, why would he have paid for his ATVs to be finished? He just wanted to keep my money and not do the work.
You getting those silencers put on that?
Yeah, I'll find a more reputable business to do business with, and won't have a problem.
Harvey?
Okay, you know, this happens a lot where somebody wants to change a contract once they sign it or make the deal. The fact is, you cannot unilaterally, on your own, change the deal without the other person's consent.